From 1848 to 1919, there was a peak in the protests for women's equality.
At that time, and even still today, women's rights were not the same as men.
In 1848, the first Women's Rights Convention was held, in which they discussed Declaration of Sentiments, which was signed by 200 women and only 40 men.
In 1860, Susan B. Anthony, Elizabeth Cady Stanton, Lucy Stone, and Henry Blackwell formed different women's suffrage associations to achieve voting rights.
Friends and fellow citizens, I stand before you tonight for the crime of having voted at the last presidential election. That was an excerpt from the Susan B. Anthony speech given after she was put in jail for standing up for her rights.
In 1893, states began to adopt the amendment for women to vote. Colorado was the first, followed by Utah and Iowa in 1896, then Washington, 1910, California, 1911, Oregon, Kansas, and Arizona in 1912, Alaska and Illinois, 1913, Montana and Nevada, 1914, New York, 1917, Michigan, South Dakota, and Oklahoma, 1918.
In 1896, Black women felt the discrimination worse, so they started forming women clubs and National Association for Colored Women.
Black women were discriminated enormously, even by white women who were fighting for the same stereotypes.
In 1903, the National Women's Trade Union was established to improve working conditions and wages for women.
Even though women were forced to work at a dangerous rate, they still earned lower wages than men.
In 1908, protesting becomes more severe, and the first incidence of hunger strikes and window smashing occurs.
Many women went on hunger strikes and were force-fed in jail because despite the men's ideas that women were important, men couldn't let them die.
Many women were very angry by these discriminating rules, so they smashed windows and blocked the sidewalk to show their emotion.
In 1910, women were allowed to take exams to be chartered accountants. Also, many privileged jobs were becoming open to women.
Even though job opportunities for women were still opening up, they still received lower wages.
In 1919, the Senate added the 19th Amendment to the Constitution, stating that women could vote. This was a huge success for many suffragists.